Remember, if you can't fix it with zip ties, you're not using enough zip ties. So here we have a Fleetwood Discovery motorhome with a 24 valve Cummins in it, and kind of a pain to work on. One, because it's at the back. Two, because it's behind everything is behind the tires. So thanks to our Canadian roads and salt, pretty much everything is rusted and rotten back here. And the biggest thing is all the hose clamps and air-to-air clamps. Pretty much had to cut every one of them off. Then we're doing all this work because the timing cover is cracked right here. I don't know if you can see that little hairline right there. That's actually a crack, and that's most likely because somebody's worked on the air compressor on this thing, which is also your power steering pump, and they probably didn't put the bracket back on that supports the front of it. So then the weight of that cracks that cover. That's the only reason that cover should be cracked down below there. To get that cover off, we do have to remove the camshaft, this injection pump gear, and loosen the injection pump off the back, and then take the the power steering pump and the air compressor off. This gear can stay put on there. Now we're gonna use the dowels to hold up the lifters. We'll show you how to do that. You can heat this gear up. It's a press fit that fits on there. The only problem with that is the only thing that holds this thing on is a press fit. And I have heard of them coming loose and the camshaft walking out and punching out the, it's not a frost cover on the 24 valves. It actually hits the flywheel housing or the flywheel adapter plate, but it destroys all the lifters and destroys the cam, so that's no good. So we'll pull the cam out. Right now is a good time to set all the lifters at the top and inspect the cam, make sure that the cam is in good shape, and then go from there. So pretty neat that this is underneath the bedroom there. So some people put valuables under the mattress, other people put a Cummins underneath their mattress, and it doesn't even matter that there's flowers on the wallpaper in the bedroom because you've got 24 valve underneath you, so help you sleep good at night. So it's too bad we have to do this, only because somebody didn't put something back together properly. The guy just bought this. I actually met him because I bought the LS intake off of him. He's a big LS guy too, so he's got a couple old Pontiacs and an old C10 pickup, everything with an LS in it. So I picked up the intake off of him. He heard the Tahoe running and said, "Hey, can you fix my motorhome?" And I said, "Yes, I can do that." So here we go. So I'm gonna use a puller like this to pull that injection pump gear off. So a threaded volt metric on either side, and then just push on the shaft, and then you hear a pop, and then it's off. All right, so basically just a small taper on it. Put it down into the valve. You can feel it, sort of ish. What you gotta hold, the trick is to really, you gotta hold your tongue the right way. Yeah, that was it. Just a small tap, nothing major, just making sure it seats, and you can lift up on it. You can feel how high the lifter goes, but stick it in, tap it, and either use an elastic band or a zip tie and pull up on them on the two on the same cylinder until they bottom out, and then just pull it tight, and there they'll stay. Do that for all 6 cylinders, and then you can pull your cam out. So it's a 1/2-inch dowel with a slight taper on it. It's a 7/16 dowel will fit in too loose, and a 1/2-inch dowel fits too tight. So you just got to put that little taper on the very end and push it in. So here we go. Another trick to pull these out is just put an adjustable in the big hole, and then another adjustable on your adjustable, and then you can lift up on the cam. It only matters every time you have to line up a journal. There we go.
Pulled the cam gear, and we found killer dowel pin, so we're gonna just sort that out too, just in case. Make sure everything's good.
You got the cover back, and basically you just V it out best as you can, and then weld it all the way around. We clamped clamp both sides together so that this distance is 100% true. We'll just grind off the extra and then sand it flat. That's the biggest area. Now it's going to leak right here, if it's going to leak at all. So we'll have to drill that hole back out again, but it'll be good as new when we're done. And we have it instantly rather than waiting for the parts. So here we go. For this one, there's a gasket that goes in between the block and the timing cover itself. This one here is just a tin gasket. Yours might be cloth. Ours is tin because it's an air compressor, is different. This one is a rubber seal around the injection pump, so just a little bit of Vaseline around it. And then the oil pan gasket is okay. Don't need to replace that, but we do need to put a little bit of silicone just at the edge where the two meet, a little bit on either side. And Cummins recommends this Loctite SI 5699 silicone. For this gasket, we also like the spray gasket. The Permatex stuff works really good. Shake it well, and it just makes it a little tacky, keeps it in place, and any imperfections really get taken up nicely. We'll pop the timing cover on. It's kind of tricky. The injection pump, we didn't take any lines off. And it should pop in. We left 2 studs in, 2 of the studs came out, and then we got to put these bolts in as we go, so it should be tricky. There we go. The camshaft's never laying flat with the gear on because you can actually bend the cam. You can stand it straight up and down or hang it, that's fine too. Put some white lithium grease around it just to put it in, not all the way down, so you can still hold it. Once it's supported in there, we can lube up the last of them. We don't have to break it in or anything because it's not new, but putting grease on there so we can set the valve lash and not worry about it not being lubed up. So here we go. So it's Saturday, and probably shouldn't attempt this on my own, but I'm stupid like that. Oh, it's just that easy. Oh, that wasn't so bad. One hose clamp in the way from the air breather, the air-to-air clamp. It's got the peg sticking out. It's hitting the breather, keeping me from tipping it in. But yeah, that went well, and I only have to pay one person. Nice.
So this is to the left of the oil pan. There's the oil pan. There's a shut-off valve and there's a drain cock. To fill the engine up with coolant again, you have to bleed it from air. So what you do is close this drain valve and open this bleeder valve and fill it up with coolant.
The other drain valve is right here at the very back of the engine, and that's the back of the cylinder head. Close this valve, close the valve underneath, open that bleeder valve, and then fill it up until that coolant starts coming out of there. Now we want to start the engine, run it for 10 seconds at idle, run it at high idle for about a minute, and then back to idle at 10 seconds. Then while it's running, close the valve at the back here again, on the bottom left, and then as soon as you get a steady flow of coolant coming back out of that bleeder valve down to the left of the oil pan, close that bleeder valve. See if it'll even start after everything we did. That's a good sign. That's a good sign. Once you have a steady stream coming out of here and down below, everything's opened up again. Open up the valve at the back of the head again. Then run it for a little bit longer and top it up. Make sure that this is full, that's full, and do a couple drive cycles. Make sure that your fluids are all up, and any air pockets, you're gonna have to do the bleed procedure again. So this one's heading off to Florida in 2 days. We'll wrap it up, put the bumper back on again, put the go over everything on the engine again, make sure that everything's tight, put back to where it's supposed to. I think there's a couple zip ties needed yet. Stupid thing is taking up my entire shop. So and there's our fancy bracket that that Aaron made, and that's all it took to prevent that whole job, is that little bracket right there. Take your time, boys, put the stuff back properly, make sure stuff is tight. Worth every minute to do it right the first time. So here we go. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because you never know what you're going to see next week on DeBoss Garage. If you like what you see, there's a lot of stuff happening to help support the channel. And remember, if you're not filthy, you're not rich.